I got an iPad and it always be trying to set me up. It's like, oh, you got to set it up a certain way. It should be good. It should be good. Man, let's get into it. Let's get into this. Let's get into it. The Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic. They trade Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first round draft pick. Let me be 100%. I'm going to start this off where we need to be. The Dallas Mavericks are probably going to the NBA Finals. I'm going to let that sink in. The Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. I'll say it again for the people in the back, in case you didn't hear me. The Dallas Mavericks, with Anthony Davis, are probably going to have the number one defense in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks are likely going to have the type of team that is able to outright dominate playoff teams by keeping them under 100 points. And they have two superstars who they will be able to lean upon to create shots for others to be able to score no matter what. The Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. You don't like the future for the Mavs, the people acting like AD is a scrub. Yo, look, let me be real with y'all. Some of y'all worried about the future for the Dallas Mavericks. The future's right now. Right now. All these teams in the NBA, all 30 of them, all the moves they're making are to get to this moment, to get to this very moment, to have the superstars, to have the defense, to have the depth, to have the coaching, to have the system, to be ready to win a championship. It's now. And Luka didn't understand that. Luka is a young guy. Luka is the young guy who doesn't appreciate what he has until it's gone. The Dallas Mavericks just went to the NBA Finals. They gave him the supporting cast that only a few great players really get around them, like when Nikola Jokic had his supporting cast when he won his championship. When he had Bruce Brown, when he had Jeff Green, when he had Monty Morris coming off the bench, when he had the full squad, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, when he had depth, when he had veterans, when he had everything he needed around him, this was the type of roster he had. And Luka didn't value it. Luka played himself. He thought it was sweet. He thought he could get over. He thought he could go to the grocery store and not bring the change back home to mama. He thought he could get away with not dedicating himself to the game. He thought he could cheat the game. Now, I'm going to get into the Lakers because I think he's going to learn a lot from LeBron James, who's never cheated the game. He's going to be forced to look at himself in the mirror with a 40-year-old who's putting in more work than he is. A 40-year-old who's been to the mountaintop telling him this is how it's done. I think he's going to learn a lot from LeBron in a way that I don't think he was ever going to learn in Dallas. The biggest liability last finals was Luka's defense. Facts. But it wasn't just his defense that was the liability. It was his attitude. It was his approach. It was his mindset. It was his mindset. You see, you have to understand the championship mindset is like nothing other. It's the reason why they say most teams can't win it all until they've been through adversity, until they've lost, until they've shed those tears, until they've had that come to Jesus moment where they look themselves in the mirror and they say, I've got to change and do better. I have to be who I have to be able to win this championship. Luka hasn't had that moment yet. And you know how you can tell? Because of how he started this season. Because of how Luka started this season. Not only was he dealing with the same calf strain last year, but then he went and he played in the Olympics after going to the NBA Finals, which meant that he had no rest. He had no break. He didn't have a moment to actually get his body right. And he went straight to the Olympics out of shape. Gave a poor showing at the Olympics, terrible showing, probably his worst international competition showing that he's had of his career was in this past Olympics. They didn't medal. They actually weren't even favored to have a chance to medal. And then he comes into this season and he's still out of shape. He's still out of shape. And this tells you the mindset of this 25-year-old. A lot of people saying, hey, AD is 31. Luka's only 25. Why would you trade those guys? His future, what is his future? He's 25. Does he get it? Does he understand? This is why you don't let young people borrow your car when you're grown. When you're grown and you got that 16-year-old nephew who's like, oh, I could just run to the store real quick. Let me get your keys. And you're like, nah, I think I'm going to drive you. Because I don't think you understand yet the gravity of the responsibility of driving this car. I don't think you get it. I'm not looking at you and saying you're somebody who gets it. 25-year-old LeBron got it. There was no question. There was no question about his mindset, his dedication, that he was going to give everything he had, even if he struggled. It wasn't going to be for lack of effort. And yet, when you watch Luka in the finals last year, how many times did you look at him and say, is he even giving his all? Is he really giving his teammates his best? He's still complaining to the referees. He's jogging back on defense. In the finals, he gets ripped at half court. He gets ripped at half court by Jaylen Brown early, picking him up the full court. When Jaylen Brown, when the other team's all-star, who just won Eastern Conference player, when he just won and rips you at half court, and that doesn't make you kick it into another gear, it says something to me. And I think it said something to the Mavericks. This decision by the Mavericks was shrewd. It was something that business execs who are successful make. They know when to cut ties. I forget the name of the NBA critic. He used to be an NBA player, but he used to have this saying that he would say, it's better to trade an asset 2 years too soon than 2 years too late. It's better to trade him too soon than too late. Luka Doncic was about to sign that extension, taking up the overwhelming majority of their salary cap. And he wasn't somebody the organization could depend upon to not cheat the game. I understand. He couldn't get the message from Jason Kidd, NBA champion. Been to the mountaintop multiple times, 2 years leading the team with the New Jersey Nets and then winning with Dallas. He couldn't learn to pick it up from Kyrie Irving, who won a championship. Said, this is how you do it. I've done it wrong before. This is how you do it. He couldn't figure it out, even when he had Dirk. You know, Dirk's got in his head said, "Hey, man, you gotta put in the work." No, I think Luka and LeBron are definitely going to be playing together. I think LeBron is going to be mentoring Luka to hand off that mantle to be the next great Laker. I think Luka learns from LeBron James. But this Dallas Mavericks team, I got them going to the finals. I think they're going to be a top 1 or 2 defense by the end of the season. From the rest of February, as soon as AD hits the court, through the rest of the season, albeit, as always, bearing no injuries. The Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. Because I think this defense is good enough to beat just about anybody. I think it's good enough to beat Oklahoma City. That's with Chet Holmgren coming back. I think they're going to be good enough of a defense to beat Denver. I think they're going to be good enough of a defense to beat Memphis, to beat anyone else. And it's still going to be a dogfight. There's still going to be a 6-game, 7-game series in there. And I trust Kyrie and Anthony Davis to figure out. Klay Thompson to figure it out. Guys who have been to the mountaintop. Guys who have already, but the trade is so strange. It makes no sense. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I try to explain it, but I'm explaining it again. If you think about what these teams go through when they let it be known that they are going or willing to trade their best player, the media storm, all the opinions, all the fans weighing in, everybody saying this is what you should do. Just look at what Miami's dealing with right now. Look at what Miami's dealing with. Look at what the Wizards had to deal with when they ended up re-signing Bradley Beal. Had to give him a no trade clause kicker instead of trading him a year or two too early. Everyone got upset, and then it plays out. You're not getting to the mountaintop. Just look at Zion Williamson, how it's playing out in New Orleans. Sometimes it's better to get these things done behind closed doors. Look, some of y'all might be young. I know you're listening, right? Just listen to the logic. Some of these cats, I'm going to be honest, you know what it sounds like? You know what it sounds like? Some of these dudes sound like dudes who've never been with a baddie before. Who never been with shorty who look good. When she thick, she got all the curves, she beautiful, don't even need the makeup. But a dude who's been there before knows it's about more than that. And something about her character, her personality ain't right. And they like, I'm good. And they let her go. And then all they partners around them like, bruh, for real? How you gonna do that? You gonna let her go? Man, she bad. Man, she this, she that. Man, y'all, some of y'all act like you ain't never been with a shorty before. Ain't never been with a baddie before. And you looking at what somebody else got like, man, I would love to be with somebody like that. Man, she, oh, bruh, oh. And it's like, bro, you don't even get it. You don't even get it. You actually got to be in a relationship with shorty. You actually got to spend time with shorty, right? Sex is what? 5% of the relationship. You on the phone. Even if you living together, it's 5%. Some of y'all ain't ever been with a baddie before. Some of y'all staring at Luka, looking at him like, oh man, oh man, this dude, he hit 3 to step back. Oh man, he's a good player. Oh man, bruh. When it comes time to reaching your goals, and you grown enough to know I actually want to get to this goal, you start looking at the person you with and being like, can I get there with you? And the Dallas Mavericks said no. Now look, hey, sometimes the shorty levels up after she goes. Sometimes she gets embarrassed. All of a sudden, she wants to get some act right. She starts going to therapy, dealing with her issues, starts adding some character. Maybe she go back to church. She probably go back to school to get her to finish up her degree that she never did, gets that bachelor's, maybe a master's, gets her career right. Maybe she starts maturing as an individual and turns out great with somebody else. But you know what the mature person does? They can recognize when you ain't gonna do that with me. Keep in mind, they've been with him for 6 years. They've already been in this relationship. The Dallas Mavericks have been in this relationship with Luka for years. For years. And they made this decision. Some of y'all got to get past just wanting to be with the sexy partner. Just wanting to have somebody on your arm and be like, man, she look good. Man, ain't that, bruh, there's more to life than just being with somebody that's sexy. There's more to life, bro. You got to grow up. You got to grow. I know some of y'all still coming out of high school. Some of y'all are barely in college. You're 21, 22. It's all about getting the sexy shorty. Hey, there comes a certain point in time where you grow up. There comes a certain point in time where you recognize there's more. And the Dallas Mavericks are looking for more, especially under the second apron. Because the second apron is penalizing the hell out of teams who spend too much on somebody who ain't worth it. Why do you think Minnesota got rid of Karl Anthony Towns? New York's about to get the Karl Anthony Towns experience for real when the playoffs come and the lights get real big. And he's picking up that fourth foul, that fifth foul at 60 feet from the basket. And you're like, why did you foul him right there? And he's got that blank, glossed over look on his face that Anthony Edwards had to look at. Y'all got excited because they made the Western Conference Finals, didn't even watch the games to see the games that they couldn't even close out the game with him. And they had to bench him for Naz Reid. That's how bad he was. Some of y'all don't understand there's levels to this. It's okay, though. It's okay. Not everybody gets to the promised land. Dallas is trying to get back to the promised land. I think both teams won the trade because of the outcome. Dallas gets Anthony Davis, an all-NBA, all-star in his prime, who wants nothing better than to win. And he's getting the centers he's always asked for, that Rob Pelinka never got him. In fact, the centers that Rob Pelinka took away. Anthony Davis now has two. Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. Dallas didn't have to give up anybody of consequence. They didn't have to give up anybody of consequence. And now they've got Kyrie, Quentin Grimes, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, or Derek Lively. I think that's going to be the starting five. That's what I would go with so you have maximal shooting. But they can also go Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, or Daniel Gafford. This team is going to be a monster. An absolute monster. As always, no injuries. No injuries. I think they could beat OKC. Oh, AD is mad happy. Mad happy. AD, look, did he want to leave LA? No. Was he probably shocked? Hell yeah. Is he probably resentful? Yes. Is he going to have a chip on his shoulder? Hell yes. But you know what he's also going to have? Centers. You know what he's also going to be able to do? Play the way he's always wanted to play, where he's been at his best, where he gets to be that roaming power forward, where he gets to be a 6'10", 7'5" wingspan Draymond Green on defense and absolutely smother everyone's offense. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks great. He's going to be on struggle when he has to worry about Anthony Davis sitting there at the rim waiting on him. And if you get past AD, you got Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively. Or then you got to get past PJ Washington and Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Max Christie. Right? Like there's levels to this. And when you can throw waves after wave of defense at superstar players, it makes a difference. It hits a little bit different. It hits a little bit different. I think OKC is really going to be about matchups. Can Dallas put off having to face Oklahoma City or the Denver Nuggets until the Western Conference Finals? If they can, they're going to the finals. They're going to the finals. I don't see anybody else who's going to be able to really score against that defense. I think the Lakers, and I said I was going to get to the Lakers. I'm going to get to the Lakers. I think the Lakers make another move. I think they get somebody like Jonas Valanciunas out of Washington, maybe Nikola Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls, and they go ahead and bring in a center. They'll have a 6'11", 7-foot center who can finish inside, and that's going to help out Luka and LeBron. They're still going to have the crew, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. They're going to have the guys who've been filling in so far. And I think they're going to stay just about where they're at. I don't think the defense is going to be good enough. But but it's still going to be about matchups, and it's hard to bet against LeBron James. It's hard to bet against LeBron James, and this is why I think the Lakers are going to be happy about this move and why they won't mind paying Luka. One, because they're the highest grossing NBA franchise right behind the New York Knicks. So they can get away with getting hit with the salary cap penalties. They can go ahead and get, that second apron tax. They're fine with that. They make they're worth $10 billion, $12 billion. Like, that's how much they're worth annually. Annually, what they're able to bring in collectively, the real estate, the marketing, advertisements, all that stuff, billions. So when we start thinking about a salary cap, we're like, I call cap. You're not really actually hurting for this money. You're making billions. And you're only giving out, 160 million? That's really what we're complaining about? Anyways, I think the Lakers, the big impact is going to be LeBron's impact on Luka Doncic. I think LeBron James is going to be able to get in his head, set the example, and it's going to be hard for Luka to come in to practice right on time, and LeBron's been there for 2 hours already. Got up all his shots, been working out. It's going to be hard for Luka to be able to see the 40-year-old dude, 15 years his senior, putting in more work than him. I'm pretty sure LeBron off top is going to be like, come work out with me. Come work out with me. Come, let me show you how this is done. Let me show you how to win a championship. I think that's what LeBron is going to do for Luka Doncic, and it's going to pay off. You've seen what it did for Austin Reeves' career. We've seen what it did for Rui Hachimura. We've seen what it did for Anthony Davis. We've seen what it did for Kyrie. We've seen what it did for everybody. Everyone who leaves playing with LeBron James goes, oh, yeah, I had to level up. I had to see, I'm not him. I'm not that. I'm not that. And I think Luka Doncic playing with a player who's better than him, and yes, LeBron James is still better than him because it's up here too. It's your mindset. It's your mentality. It's your focus. It's your work ethic. It's not just your offensive talent. It's not just your ability to create shots. Hey, great job, Luka. But you got embarrassed in the NBA Finals. And you had a team that should have been able to take that at least 7 games. And you got embarrassed. You got embarrassed. I think LeBron is going to get in his head. I think LeBron is going to tell him, look, this is what we're here to do. Also, Luka, he pairs back up with Dorian Finney-Smith. He's going to have some camaraderie there. There's going to be some chemistry. And I think they make it work. I think Lakers stay in the playoffs. I think we're seeing a new NBA, if I'm honest with you. I think a lot of these ownership groups coming in for these old regime owners are finally about business. They're not about the fanfare. They're not trying to be in front of the camera like a Dolan in New York or even a Mark Cuban. They don't really care about, the glam. They're just going to try to win. Because if you win, you make the most amount of money. So they're going to do the things that it takes to win. Now, I know y'all got all your opinions, and we're going to talk about it in the comment section. I always talk about it with y'all in the comment section. As a matter of fact, those of y'all who put a basketball symbol in your comment, I'm going to get to your comments first. If you stayed with me this far in the video. The Dallas Mavericks are going to the NBA Finals. That's who I got. I'm going to call it now. Because folks out here playing me about Anthony Davis, acting like he is not him still. Wemby is great. Anthony Davis is right there. Giannis is great. Anthony Davis is right there. Yeah, he may not be Jokic. He's still motherfreaking Anthony Davis. He's still Defensive Player of the Year candidate every single year. He's still one of the top 10 players in the NBA. Y'all out here playing like he's not a top player. Some of y'all so corny. Some of y'all so corny. Y'all would have traded Anthony Davis for a bunch of suckers, a bag of chips, and 12 draft picks who would have ended up being a bag of corn funyuns and some Rolos. That's what y'all would have traded him for. Y'all would have traded Luka Doncic for absolutely nothing. He is when he's healthy, but he ain't healthy right now. I think he's get healthy. His what he's dealing with right now, nobody expects him to be out a long time for. Nobody. 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 I think the Dallas Mavericks figure it out. I think Anthony Davis is going to be rejuvenated going to Dallas, being under Jason Kidd, an experienced coach, a champion coach, playing next to Kyrie Irving, who's going to be just as locked in for winning. A defensive team around him. You have to understand, defense has levels to it. You could be a great individual defensive player, but if you don't have good defenders around you, it's still going to minimize your impact and we'll never see just how good you could be. But if you have great defenders around you and you're a great individual defensive player, you will look all-time great. I think Anthony Davis is going to look all-time great defense. This is going to be the move. I'm going to tell you, the move this reminds me of is when Rasheed Wallace went to the Detroit Pistons. And he's 10 times better than Rasheed Wallace. This is what it reminds me of. All of a sudden, a great defense became all-time great. Became all-time great. That's actually a great kind of analogy for this Dallas Mavericks team right now. And they got all the pieces. They got all the pieces to win right now. Now, I still love De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio. I think they figured out they still got Chris Paul. But I feel you. Hey, sometimes it just needs to be said. Sometimes it just needs to be said. Some of y'all in this Stephen Curry generation forgot that defense wins championships. Y'all forgot. Some of y'all forgot. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody, but some of y'all forgot that defense wins championships. Some of y'all don't realize that, hey, you can't have a guy who's decided he's not going to play defense in the NBA Finals. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. You're not. Not if the other team is at full strength. People don't realize that when Stephen Curry won that first championship against Cleveland, it was because Kyrie and Kevin Love weren't there. That's why. That's another 40 points per game. That was not there. And LeBron still took him to 6 games with Matthew Dellavedova and Tristan Thompson. You don't win without great defense. You don't win if your best player is not dedicated to the defensive end. By the time Kevin Durant got there, Stephen Curry had become a moderate defender. He was no longer just the one easily exploited, taken advantage of. He was now the guy who was like, look, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to get to my spots. I'm going to be in the right place. And then I got my help. Luka Doncic isn't there yet. Luka Doncic is still Steve Nash bad. Luka Doncic is still LaMelo Ball bad on defense. He doesn't care. And that's the real issue. I'm going to be honest with you. You want to tie it all. You want to put a bow on it. You want to put the bow on it. Luka didn't care enough to play defense for his teammates, for the organization that had built around him. You know what Trae Young would do to be playing with another All-NBA talent? Kyrie Irving's talent? And a team full of average to above average starting level NBA players with depth? You know what some of these dudes would do to have that type of roster? And Luka just didn't care to get back on D. Complaining to referees. Getting ripped at half court. Not getting back. Not rotating. Not boxing out. Not getting into shape. Y'all remember the video where the brother had to take the beer out of Luka's hands at the end of the Western Conference Finals and was like, bro, you're nursing an injury. You've got to recover. We still got the NBA Finals to go to against an all-time great defense. Bro, where's your mind at? You think we're done? You think the job is done? Remember what Kobe said? The job ain't done until when we've held up that trophy. That's when we're done. Luka thought he was done. It's the mindset. He may figure it out in LA. I think he will. I think he'll figure it out in LA with LeBron James tutoring him. But he wasn't going to figure it out in Dallas. And that's what they realized. That's what they put together. And they said, before we put a ring on this finger, I gave y'all the whole dating analogy. Before we put a ring on this finger, let me look at who you've been in this relationship. And they said, I'm going to go a different direction. But as always, I want to know what you all think. Some of y'all don't want to know what y'all think. I've seen some of y'all's comments down there and it was terrible. It was terrible. Some of y'all don't play basketball, haven't played basketball. You think it's as simple as you just shoot a shot. Does adding Levine to the Kings make a difference? I don't know. I've never seen Zach LaVine as a needle mover, but I think that he's going to give them more than De'Aaron Fox was willing to give them. Matter of fact, if you still on the live with me, you want to ask me questions about what's going on in the NBA right now, now's the time to do it. And I will answer each of them live. I think Malik Monk has proven he can be a lead guard for a playoff team. I think he's showing that. Getting 8, 9 assists, 7, 8, 9 assists a game, running the point, still scoring 20 plus points. He gets to his spots. He's going to be kind of like one of those shoot first, Tony Parker type of point guards. And I think having Zach LaVine next to him is really going to open things up. I still like DeMar DeRozan. They may have some more moves that they choose to do. How do you think the Pistons end the season? I think Sacramento gets into the play-in. And I think they may have another move left to do. I don't know if it'll be to move DeRozan or to move Keegan Murray. I think they may still have a move left to do. But I think that they sneak into the play-in. I think they get in. But I don't see them going past maybe first round, second round. They just don't have the right pieces in the right place. I think they should have went after Pascal Siakam. They should have given up Keegan Murray. And we see what Pascal is doing for Indiana right now, next to Tyrese Halliburton. He's an all-star, having an all-NBA level season. That's what they needed. And I think the Sacramento Kings not making that move is also part of the reason why De'Aaron Fox wanted out of there. Let me see. Check this chat again. What do I think of the Detroit Pistons? How they in the year? I think the Detroit Pistons in the year with, let me see. I think they end up right around the 6, 7 seed, depending upon health. I love the direction Jalen Duren is trending in. I think Cade Cunningham continues to play well. I want to see them actually go after C.J. McCollum. I want to see them get C.J. McCollum because I think C.J. McCollum is going to take some of the playmaking, facilitating duties off of Cade, and I think that that's going to help his endurance to finish out the season. I think he's going to bring some extra added playmaking that's going to help Jalen Duren even more, as well as create opportunities for other guys like Asar, Ron Holland, even Marcus Sasser. So I think he's going to be a great guy to add to this roster. I wanted them to kind of get Lonzo Ball because I think he also brings something on defense, but I think Lonzo's out of there also. Anyone else? Any other questions before I get off this live? Let me see. Zach LaVine make a difference. I already answered that. AD's definitely happy. He has centers with him. Let me see. Appreciate it, Anthony, about the great content. All right. And messy in Miami. It's mad messy in Miami. They need to get that thing done and quit messing around. It's just a bad look. All right, I think I answered all the questions. Oh, Memphis best in the West. Yo, some of y'all, I wish y'all would track my videos. I said Memphis was going to be a top 2-3 seed this season from the very beginning. I said the Memphis Grizzlies are going to have a strong bounce back. And with Gigi Jackson coming back, Vince Williams coming back, they have more depth than ever. I think they are due for a consolidation trade. I think they could go get Jimmy Butler. They got to talk to him first and let him know, like, hey, come roll with us, even if it's just for 1 or 2 seasons. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 seasons. And then I think it'll give us an opportunity to win a championship, and you can boost your value, and someone else will sign you. But that's the type of move that I think Memphis is ready for. Or do they go get DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento? Ooh, that could be nasty work. That could be nasty work. Ooh, I'm just gonna throw that out there. And I think there was one other comment. Let me see if I can get to it real quick before I need to hop off this thing. Uh, Memphis, yes, it's gonna be good. Um, there was one other comment I want to make sure I get to. Uh, Memphis. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Either way, uh, yeah, gotta block these trolls. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to it eventually. I appreciate the real ones holding it down. Um, yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Oh, I do want to see the Pistons go grab Santi Aldama. Somebody in one of our live streams was like, "Hey, man, they should go get Santi. They get Santi Aldama and have some shooting in the front court. Cade will be absolutely bonkers because I think Santi is due to end up being one of those 18-8 guys. He's gonna look real Laurie Markin-ish. I think he could be a great addition to the Detroit Pistons. Santi Aldama, definitely go after him if you can, or just try to sign him in the offseason. Try to put together a package. Either way, shout out to the Detroit Pistons doing their thing. Los Angeles Lakers set up for the future. I think Luka learns from LeBron. And the Dallas Mavericks with Anthony Davis, I think you're going to have an all-time great defense. I think they can get to the NBA Finals. Depending upon matchups and health, they're going to have an opportunity to get back to the promised land. AD finally has the center help. He's going to have a great roster around him, and they're going to make a run. As always, it's your man 100 Grand Ross with the Rock Never Stops. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.